But right now, we have a really important story that I know everybody, all of you all want to hear about this. And there's just so much going on that there are things that are can be lost in the shuffle. Like yesterday, there was a reporter in West Virginia who was arrested for supposedly asking his question too loudly to HHS Secretary Tom Price. And then there is the case of the Code Pink activists who were arrested and faced jail time for engaging in their constitutionally protected right of free speech and assembly, and laughing at Jeff Sessions, at head Klansman in chief Jeff Sessions, is now apparently making fun of, might be, so I might be next. Satire might be the next protected form of speech that comes under threat. But, the Code Pink, Desiree was arrested with Tighe Barry, who's joining us by phone right now. And Tighe, can you just kind of walk us through that day when you were arrested for engaging in your constitutionally protected right to protest Jeff Sessions?
Sure. Thank you for having me. We just held a press conference slash laugh-in at the Department of Justice because it's such a laughing matter. We were in his confirmation hearing. There were more than 20 groups. There were 25 arrests total that day. We were in there. Many of us, the Code Pink women, were dressed as Lady Liberty. They had signs saying, "Don't confirm Jeff Sessions. He's a racist. He's Islamophobic." All the different things that people have to say. We were, again, using our First Amendment protected right of freedom of speech. And before the gavel went down, the place went into pandemonium because His Royal Highness Jeff Sessions walked into the room. So we took that opportunity to get a little louder. As the room was getting louder, we stood on our chairs, me and my friend Lenny Bianchi. We put on faux Ku Klux Klan outfits with the little hat. And we pretended we were Ku Klux Klan. They were there to welcome Jeffrey Sessions. So we were waving and yelling and saying, "Hey, Jeff, come on over here. Your good buddies are here." And for this, we were taken down and summarily hauled out of the room. We used our, again, First Amendment rights of freedom of speech to say what we felt about his policies. And we were arrested, booked, and held for 12 hours. And then about 45 minutes later, after the gavel had went down, Desiree Feruz chuckled a little bit when she heard something that was very funny, such as Jeff Sessions is out there to protect everyone's rights, civil rights. And she was arrested as well. And then we went to trial, and we were really sure that the jury would find us not guilty. But as the judge had made it a little difficult for them because he said that they would only be allowed to deliberate on Monday, so they had to wait about 6 days. They found us guilty, and we're awaiting sentencing on June 21st.
So what? It's just, I really think that there's this faux thing happening from the far right wing where they're pretending that they're standing up for free speech when really what they like to do is get violent at protests and crack some skulls. And when there are literal attacks on free speech happening, which is when the coercive power of the government is used to prosecute people for their speech, and the effect of prosecuting you and Desiree is also a chilling effect for everyone else out there. Now a journalist has been arrested for asking their question too loudly. So
Well, let me give you another example.
Please.
So we're in these buildings all the time, right? Well, a friend of mine went to a meeting. It was called Victory for Israel. It wasn't a briefing. It wasn't a committee hearing or anything. It was just a meeting inside a room. You had to RSVP. She RSVP'd. She's a well-known Jewish anti-Zionist activist. She filled out the form, RSVP'd, signed herself in, got the name tag at the door, walked in the door, and one of the representatives recognized her, threw her out of the room, and had her arrested. And she today went into court. She's got 3 charges on her now for that. And this is what we're facing. We had 3 charges thrown on us. Our first charge was incommoding, which is just meaning blocking people's way, and it ended up being 3 charges, and they knew they could get us on 1 or 2 of the other charges to give us a possibility of a year in jail.
And I'll give you another one of I was working on a protest on basically Paul Ryan's budget being a death sentence for people who are living with HIV and AIDS. And so there was a group of activists who went to Paul Ryan's office to raise their voices. And it's important. This is the people's building that you were arrested in, right? I mean, we, the people, own that building. It is ours. It is no one else's. It is not private property. It is ours. It is literally the people's building. So we were outside of Paul Ryan's office, and there were some activists who engaged in acts of civil disobedience, and they were arrested. But here's the thing that I'd never seen before. The Capitol Police removed a reporter from the scene, removed the reporter around the corner by threatening arrest for being in the hallways of the people's building, doing his job as a reporter, and actually detained that reporter to remove him. That.
Well, can I
go ahead?
I'm just going to tell you one thing. One thing is that really bothered me about our we had a 2-day trial, and during the entire 2-day trial, it took 2 prosecution defense attorneys, and they kept bringing up the rules of the House, rules of the Senate. I defied them the whole time. Produce the rules. There are no rules. Police do not understand the Bill of Rights. They don't follow the fact that you can't just artificially detain someone for doing absolutely nothing, and this is what they do.
And, you know, it's this creeping, if we don't fight it at each turn, then it becomes normalized. Then it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm. I've seen people get arrested for putting up peace sign, just holding up their hand, a mere peace sign in a Armed Services Committee hearing.
Teague, where can people get involved? How can we raise this issue of free speech and really make a lot of noise, make sure that that everybody knows about it, support you and your compatriot Desiree, and anyone. I feel like the left broadly needs to understand that free speech is our issue. If we can't use our speech, if we can't use that satire, what you engaged in was clear satire, constitutionally protected, because we recognize the importance of allowing speech, the importance of holding the powerful accountable using speech, using satire, this is the bulwark against tyranny, is our free speech. How can people get involved in raising awareness on this, in supporting you? And, you know, what are ways that we can make sure that the left broadly understands that this fight over free speech is a primary fight for all of us?
Well, I'll give you a couple different things. One, you can go to codepink.org, and we have a list of various organizations that are involved in this and around the country. And locally, there's Disrupt J20, which there are now 330 people that are still facing federal crimes for protesting the inauguration. You can go and support us on June 21st. we'll be at 600 Indiana Avenue Northwest, where we'll be in the Moultrie building, and we'll be standing before a judge who will give us a sentence of possibly 1 year. Come out and be with us, and let's all fight, be part of the resistance.
Tighe Barry from Code Pink, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for raising your voices, for raising your voice, for speaking truth to power. We, the people, cannot allow our voices to be taken from us. That's what they're trying to do. They're scared of us raising our voices, and that's why they're trying to take our voice away.